Wassail is an unusual old word, and I'm lucky enough to know an expert on old words, so I asked Dr. Cullen if he could give us an explanation.
Wassail. The earliest evidence that we have for the expression in English is in this text, The Brute, which is a kind of fanciful history of Britain by a chap called Lachamon, or Lawman, who was writing in Worcestershire in the late 12th century. This says, "That Freund saith to Frounder, Leve Freund, Wassail. The other saith, Drink ale. Friend says to friend, Dear friend, Wassail. The other says, Drink ale." So the expression is being used here as a drinking toast. As for the etymology, well, the simple version is this. It comes from Old Norse, Old Scandinavian if you like, Wassail, which is an expression that's recorded seemingly as a kind of everyday greeting. There's no hint that it's a drinking toast. Wes is the imperative singular of the verb wera, to be, and hail is an adjective meaning healthy, sound. So the expression means be healthy. And presumably it was borrowed into English from Scandinavian in the Danelaw counties of the north and east of England, following heavy Scandinavian settlement, where an Anglo-Scandinavian dialect arose.
When it comes to wassailing, there are two traditions. One is the apple tree wassail, and the other is the door-to-door wassail. Unusually for our traditions, they're both really quite old. There are records of house to house from the 15th century and apple tree wassailing from the 16th century.
You see, they'd sing the wassail song, and then after they sing that, they'd go back to the farmer's back door and have cider. And then they'd go under a pear tree or plum tree, which was, then instead of they say apples and cider, they'd say pears and purry this year. Do you see what I mean, don't they, sir?
Oh, then they used to fire the guns up in the apple tree to drive the evil spirits out the tree. And they even used to hang a little bit of toast in the limbs for the rubbing to come and pay.
It's still done today. Here's a community allotment in Nottingham 3 years ago, and here's Black Pig Morris going out in the rain last January with a large crowd to wassail a tree in Langley Mill, unfortunately without any guns. The other practice is going house to house with a wassail bowl, offering good luck with health, love and peace for the coming year, and often a good apple harvest as well, and asking for money, food and drink. The early records are of groups of women with a full wassail bowl from which householders can take a drink and make a contribution, but other versions have an empty bowl to be filled at each stop and probably drunk by the wassailers before they get to the next house.
Wassail, wassail, throughout all this town, our carpet is white and our ale it is brown. Our wassail is made of good ale and cake, some nutmeg and ginger, the best we could get.
Go, mistress, and the master, how can you forbear? Come full of her bowl with cider or beer, for our wassail, wassail.
It was a widespread custom. There are lots of wassail songs: Gloucestershire, Cornwall, Cheshire, Gower, Leeds, and they're all different, and the wassailing happened at different times between Christmas and Twelfth Night, which makes me think that it really was a living tradition which evolved in different ways in different places. Later wassailers were groups of men, sometimes in disguise and often with some kind of beast, going from door to door asking for food, money and drink, which could have been a bit threatening. And some of the songs recognise this and try and defuse it. We are not daily beggars who go from door to door, but we are neighbours' children who you have seen before. Or, good master and mistress sitting down by the fire, put your hands in your pockets and give us our desire. Put your hands in your pockets and see us all right. If you give note, we'll take note. farewell and good night. But when it comes to figgy pudding, things are more serious. We won't go until we've got some. We won't go until we've got some. We won't go until we've got some. So bring some out here. Round here, of course, the plough lads will be round in a week or so, and if they're not satisfied, they may plough up your yard. As far as I know, nobody's doing house-to-house wassailing in England anymore, though some mummers groups may do some. But there are still poor wassailers out there who are hungry and cold, and still people out there, food banks, soup runs, who are doing something to give them a bit of bread and cheese. So if we want to support the tradition, we could think about putting a bit of small silver in their old bowl. As for me, I wish you joy, health, love and peace in the coming year. And if I'm alive for another new year, perhaps I will call to see all of you here. Wassail.